Hello everyone, this side Diksha Ahuja, your economics teacher. Welcome back to my channel, Economic Zone by Diksha Ahuja. As we were doing chapter number 4, National Income and Related Aggregates, so we'll continue with that only. And welcome back again to my channel. So, in today's video, I'm gonna cover up national income and domestic income difference, and then we'll talk about what things are to be bifurcated for national and domestic income. That means the items which will be included in national income and domestic income or in either of them. So after that we'll do the real GDP and nominal GDP, and then lastly we'll understand the concept of GDP deflator, and with that we'll understand the GDP and the relation with its welfare. So let's start. So let's first of all understand the meaning of national and domestic income. National income is the income earned by the residents of a country. Let's say if a person has gone abroad just for 9 months, that person will be the normal resident of our country. So national income includes the income earned by the normal residents of India. Whether that person is earning that income within India or outside India. Let's say a normal resident of India is working in USA company, then his income will be part of national income as net factor income from abroad. So on the other hand, we have domestic income. What is domestic income? The income earned within the domestic territory, right? The income earned within the boundaries of a country. Let's say a person living in India is earning 50,000. So that income will be included because that person is living in India within, you can say domestic territory means within the boundaries of the country, within the country. And while attempting the questions, you will get to know embassy also. While attempting the question, you will see a question that Indian resident working in US embassy. Let's say if a person is working in US embassy, the income he will get will be from abroad. So that will be included in national income. This embassy word is very important. Let's say, what is Indian embassy? Indian embassy means that is actually not the part of the country, it is outside. Let's say Indian embassy located in Russia. But it will be the part of India only. So any profit earned by Indian embassy or any person working in Indian embassy will be the part of domestic income. So if it is asked that whether Indian embassy profit will be included in domestic income or not, then you will say yes, it will be included in domestic income because embassy is a part of domestic income, because though it is not located in India, it is somewhere outside Indian embassy, but it is still within the boundaries of the country because it is a part of the country. So next topic we have is real GDP and nominal GDP. Let's understand the meaning and the difference. Real GDP says that GDP, what is GDP first of all? It is the money value, gross domestic product. It is the money value of all the final goods and services produced within the domestic territory during a particular year. So what is real GDP? The GDP which is calculated on the prices of base year, right? Base year means, let's say for 2019 we have considered, for all the years we have considered 2011 as the base year. So we'll take the prices of base year. Real GDP is calculated on the prices of base year. On the prices of base year. So what will be the formula? Price of base year into quantity of current year. So the formula of real GDP says price of base year and quantity of current year multiplication, right? So real GDP formula is P0 into Q1. So after that we need to know what is nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is the money value of goods and services produced within the domestic territory calculated on the prices of current year. Calculated on the prices of current year. So what is the formula here? The formula of nominal GDP is price of current year, that is noted by 1, and price, the quantity of one, that is current year. Here 0 is base year and 1 is current year. So now it's turn to do GDP deflator. So next topic which I need to explain is GDP deflator. So if you have studied price index in your class 11th, you should know that change in prices is reflected by price index. So how much inflation is taking place, how much the price is increasing over the years. So one of the ways to calculate GDP deflator, or you can say the price index, is nominal GDP upon real GDP into 100. First of all, we should know the meaning of GDP deflator. That says that we should know the actual change in physical output. अगर मुझे actual change जानना है physical output में, तो I need to eliminate the gap of price change. That let's say from 2011 to 2019, there's a change in prices of 20%. So I need to remove the 20% change in prices from the change in GDP so that I'll get the actual change in output. कि output में over the years कितना change आया है for the economy, how much the economy has developed through actual output. So let us know what is GDP deflator. It is used to eliminate the price effect of over the years, and it is calculated by the formula nominal GDP that we just started calculated at the prices of current year divided by real GDP, the GDP at constant prices calculated at the prices of constant year, multiplied by 100. And I'll do one example with you to make you understand how GDP deflator is calculated. Let's say in a question, nominal GDP is given to be 20,000 and real GDP is given to be 16,000. Let's assume real GDP is given to be 16,000. So solve it further and you will get, let's say solve it so you will get 125%. Right, solving 20,000 upon 16,000 into 100, you will get GDP deflator is to be 125%. How it is interpreted? 125% means that there is an increase in prices by 25% because 100% will be same, like there is no change, and 25% reflects the change in prices, that is a positive change in prices. So GDP deflator in this case is 125. There is a need to practice many questions for this that you can do yourself. Then I'm moving to the last topic of the chapter, that is GDP deflator and GDP and welfare. So GDP deflator, so we got to know one important thing. You should know. What important thing we got to know? Which is the better indicator of welfare? You can say it can be real GDP or normal GDP. If I ask you this question, which is the better indicator? You'll say, you'll think of it, you'll say, ma'am, real GDP. Why real GDP? Because real GDP considers the price of base year and the quantities of current year. So it does not include the price of current year, that is the change price. It takes all the prices as base year only. Like for all the food items, let's say I'm calculating GDP deflator, and for that we need real GDP to be not. For all we are taking P naught as the main content. So real GDP will be always P naught into Q1. So if I ask you this question, that which is the better indicator of welfare? You'll say, ma'am, real GDP, because it takes into account only the change in output. It does not take the current prices into consideration. And on the other hand, nominal GDP takes P1 into Q1. If you remember before 1 minute. So P1 means current prices. It always takes current prices. That will not tell you how much actual change in output has taken place. So the answer is real GDP is a better indicator. Now the last topic we have is limitations of real GDP as an indicator of welfare. What do you mean by welfare? A country should be happy enough, doesn't have the sense that it should be having economic growth. I'll give you one example. Bhutan is a country which is one of the happiest country of the world, but the GDP is very low. So my question is, if in a country GDP rises, तो क्या welfare भी बढ़ता है? क्या happiness भी बढ़ती है? Is happiness measured with GDP or not? So there are certain limitations. वैसे तो हम real GDP को consider करते हैं as a better indicator, but still it has certain limitations because it does not include some factors. So what are the limitations? We do not include certain factors while calculating GDP. That should be taken care of, but is not included till now. Right? So let us start the 4 points which I'll do. What is the question? What is the statement? Limitations of real GDP as an indicator of welfare. Though real GDP is a better indicator, but it does not include many aspects of the economy that makes welfare better but not GDP. Let's talk about. First is externalities. Externalities. What are externalities? The activities which are from external sources, which are not included in GDP. These are the activities which harm the environment or give benefit to the environment but are not included in GDP. I'll give you example. It can be positive, it can be negative. I'll give you economic example only. So, positive example. Let's say there's a perfume factory nearby your area and your surroundings are being always fragmented, right? Always in fragrance. So, you people are happy and getting the benefit, but are you giving anything to the factory for getting fragrance? No, you're not giving. So, the production of perfume is included in GDP, but the happiness for the people, right, for getting the fragrance is not included. Another positive example, the government makes a bridge, a flyover, right, makes a flyover, let's say from Delhi to Gurgaon. It reduces the cost of transportation, it reduces the time of the people, but it is not included in GDP. The happiness of people of reducing cost is not included. But the expenditure by the government on flyover, let's say 5 crores, is included in GDP through expenditure method. So one example of negative externality which is not included in GDP is, let's say a factory is making some chemical product which is included in GDP. That a bad product that have chemicals and it creates pollution also. That factory is producing that chemical product, that will be included in GDP. Uska production include hoga GDP mein, but the pollution created by the factory, because the factory will not pay for that pollution, it will not be taken care of while calculating GDP. So the very first statement which is very important is externalities, which are the activities which either give harm to the environment or gets benefited from it, but are not included while calculating GDP. So next is non-monetary exchanges. This is very simple and you know about it already. Non-monetary exchanges says that those non-economic activities which are not included in GDP, such that a housewife working for the house, a doctor treating his own son, a teacher teaching her own daughter, right? These are the activities, non-economic activities which are increasing the welfare. If a teacher is teaching her own daughter, she will be intelligent in the future, she will be successful in the future, but is this included in GDP? No. So non-monetary exchanges, that is in which the transaction is not taking place, the factor income or payment is not rendered, in that it is not included in GDP. So we are saying non-monetary exchanges are not included. Next, change in the distribution may affect welfare. What do you mean by change in distribution? We are talking about income actually. So there are many countries where inequality is there. You know what is inequality? The gap between rich and poor. The best example of developed economy is USA, in which there's a lot of inequality is huge in USA, but the GDP is also huge in USA. So we consider USA as a developed economy irrespective of the fact that it has the highest inequality. So क्या हम GDP calculate करते time are we considering the gap? If the GDP will increase, whom it will benefit? Just think about. If GDP will rise, it will benefit only the rich. It will not benefit the poor. So, increase in GDP do not increase the welfare. In the case where inequality is persistent. I hope I am making sense. So, change in distribution of income may not affect welfare, right? It might change the happiness, right? But it will not affect GDP. So, GDP only considers the increase in production. It does not consider the gap between rich and poor. कौन increase कर रहा है GDP? It does not consider, but there should be increase in GDP. Welfare अच्छा हो, चाहे ना हो. Last one, this is very interesting. Right, some goods contribute negatively to welfare. There are some goods. Let's talk about two countries. One country is, let's say, India, which is producing milk. Right, the milk production of India is one of the second number. Right, and let's say Brazil, who is producing liquor. Can you tell me whose welfare will be better? This is India and this is Brazil. Obviously, because India is producing good product, milk, the welfare of India will be better, right? But Brazil is producing liquor and the demand of liquor is more than milk all over the world. So its GDP is higher. Brazil as a country is developed country and its GDP is higher. What about the welfare? It's bad. तो क्या GDP welfare को include करता है? Is GDP talk about welfare? No. It just have this matter that it should increase GDP irrespective of the fact the welfare is good or bad. So yes, I can say real GDP is not a good indicator of welfare as well because it have certain limitations. It is one of the important questions of this chapter. You should learn it properly. So this is it for today. The chapter national income and related aggregates is over at this point. So bye bye. Take care for today.